Make every brush stroke count. What up friends, Liron here. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today I just want to share with you a quick insight I had. I plan on making these kinds of shorter videos that just maybe share one tip or one insight that I got as I get them, because it just happens so fast. And so lately I've been doing a lot of trying to build up my style and experiment with other different styles, and many of you know I've been following Alvaro Castanet's stuff for a long time now, and now I'm really focusing on not necessarily mimicking his style but learning what I can from it. And there's a lot to learn. He talks a lot about contradiction in your paintings, a lot of warms and cools, dry brush, wet and wet, trying to make it all work together and have some variety and interest. So there are a lot of good things to learn from him. One concept that really struck me was, and it's funny because I got the insight from observing him work, but then he mentioned it and then it really smacked me and I'm like, oh, I noticed him doing that. So when noticing him work, and I replied to a comment here a few days ago saying a very similar thing, there's not even one wasted brushstroke or wasted effort. He does everything in one go and really gets it the way it should be. Now, of course, there's a great deal of experience involved in this, but I think also it's a matter of choice and really actively striving for getting things working on the first try and developing that confidence. And so this is especially visible with his dry brush strokes. He just puts them in there, he has confidence that it'll work, he looks at the painting and he goes, let me see, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and it looks perfect. So this is just an interesting idea that if you start looking at your brush strokes as an individual separate brush strokes, it sort of changes the way you think about them and the way you appreciate them. So instead of just saying, oh, I have to fill in a wash, why not actually think about it in terms of brush strokes? What's the minimum amount I can do? And not necessarily just to challenge yourself, but really be practical about it. I had this exercise about using minimum number of brush strokes. It was sort of a fun exercise and a challenge, but this one is really meant to be practical. Like, how can I get this shape done in the minimum amount of effort? And there's a good reason for that, because the more you're able to do that, the less overworked your work becomes. And so this is a really interesting one that I've been focusing on a lot. Also trying to get my washes to be more efficient, and also trying to get the brush strokes especially showing this. So if you treat each and every brush stroke as its own kind of being and you really put your effort in it, it does a few cool things. First off, you're more in the moment because you're enjoying every part and every aspect of the process. You're not looking at it as washes, but rather as individual brush strokes. Second is you actually improve your brush strokes because you're more focused on them. A lot of good things happen. So just to give you an example, I will share the full process of this one. I did this painting literally an hour ago. And I will probably share a time-lapse and then the full narrated version in the following days. But the thing is, and you can see a lot of this is a bit, I don't know if overworked, but I could definitely do better in terms of the brush strokes. But what I want to direct your attention to are the shadows on the ground. I really aimed to get those in one go and just get them to look the way I want to. Also the people, I also had this kind of approach. The cars also, I messed up a bit with the foliage and stuff, but we'll cover it in the actual video. But just what I want you to take from this is these individual strokes that are very confident, very bold, and they just seem to work. Okay, so let's conclude. Basically what I'm trying to say is try to get down to a micro level and not just look at it as washes, but rather as strokes. And ask yourself, how can I get the maximum expression and the maximum expression of myself and how I see what I see in the minimum amount of work, just to keep things very simple and not overworked, because there's this magic when you're able to pull that off. There's this magic going on, because it feels like you said so much with so little. And it makes me sometimes really baffled. I look at works, and it's not just Alvaro Castaneda, a lot of good artists, that's what they learn to do, to say more with less. It's just amazing, and when I look at it, I'm like, wow, I can really read the scene I'm looking at, even though there's barely any details there. So this is just something really cool I'm trying to now incorporate into my work. So this is already a great example of how doing this and stretching my own style and trying out different concepts by different artists, inspiration, leads to bettering my own work, because one day I may go back to doing exactly what I've been doing, but still I'll have that better efficiency in my brushstrokes. Maybe I'll have better control over warms and cools. Maybe I'll have better control over contrasts. A lot of concepts that I learn now by trying out something that's completely different from what I'm doing. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you still haven't. Give this video a thumbs up. I never asked for a thumbs up, but I see everyone doing it. I don't even know if it has any influence on the video, but give it a thumbs up if you feel like it, if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to follow me on Snapchat and Instagram. And I will see you again in another video tomorrow.